everyone, my name is Aniyal and I'm from Rehan School, Rangi campus in class 7. So today we have another great guest from Australia, Mr. Ballard. So hello sir, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you, and it's great to be here.
Thank you so much for your time. So before moving on questions, can you please introduce yourself?
Certainly, I'm Michael Ballard from Resiliency for Life. And at Resiliency for Life, we teach people what some people call mindset skills. So these are beliefs and values that form our attitudes that help create the habits that keep us safer and often increase the quality of our everyday and big momentum lifestyle issues that happen along the way. So resiliency helps us with grade rates, graduations, for being at a certain age and chronic health issue. It helps me manage my health better. And financially, proving that people who practice resiliency skills, it's 30% cheaper to take care of a chronic health issue often, not always, but often, and have 20% less symptoms. So again, resilience is not a cure for anything, but it's about quality of life, quality of experience, and it also impacts business, relationships, and other things.
Very wonderful. So my first question on your screen is, what inspired you to specialize in Reliance coaching?
Great question. Well, a long time ago at 17, I got a chronic health diagnosis. It wasn't fun. The chronic health issue really hurt. And my medical doctor was good at helping me manage it physically, but I said, what can I do about it? And he was like, well, there's nothing you can do. Well, in my family, you can visit the world of nothing you can do. You're not allowed to live in the world of nothing you can do. And so at that point, there was a new university built just down the road from me by 30 minutes. So I boarded the family car, went to the library, went to the chief librarian and said, I'm looking for information, this is before Google, I'm looking for information about managing life with chronic health. And she went, oh, Michael, there's just information coming in the last 3 months. I have a personal interest. Let me take you over. So she got out the little index cards and the Dewey Decimal System again. No Google. And she got it out and said, follow me. I got a lot of nickels, some photocopy machine, photocopied the essentials, and I found out that if you practice resiliency, what I call it, they called it in research well-being skills, I could have 20% less symptoms, less severity of symptoms, and other things. And I'm like, wow, I put up with this for 6 months, and my doctor's telling me there's nothing I can do? Well, bless them, but no, my parents and grandparents, all 6 of them, there's always something you can do to manage life. A little better, a lot better. So that got me started. It awakened me. And these skills were very close to the 4 years of martial arts I'd studied. And let's be clear, we're not looking at a very good martial artist. I'm a good 3 out of 10 in skill, 9 out of 10 for effort, but 3 out of 10 for skill. But it aligned with that. It didn't go against anything in my face. And it aligned with what my parents and grandparents said. So I started to practice it. And within a year, I went 3 years with no symptoms. And when I went for my yearly checkups, they were like, no symptoms. I said, well, I went to the medical school that had this research on the chronic illness. And I go, no, none of that. We don't do that in Canada. Well, I found out since they don't do it in the U.S. or a lot of other countries, which is really sad because who wants to have a chronic illness? And more so, for 20 minutes a day, I went 3 years with no symptoms, no medical expenses then, except the annual checkup and check on me. So that got me really, there's this set of skills can help you. So that got me started. You're on mute.
Now you can hear me. So my next question for you is, how do you help individuals cultivate resilience in their life?
Oh, great question. Well, to go back, you start with the beginning. Each of us have what I call a self-definition. So how do you define yourself? You're a student at the Rehan School, right? It's pretty obvious. It says so right on the screen. So that's one thing. Then you have a favorite subject, yes. You got a subject that's less than favorite. And a hobby maybe. Do you have a hobby? Do you have a hobby? You're on mute. You're still on mute. Anyways, our hobbies, our favorite subjects, our least favorite subjects, our age, our family culture, our family faith, our family community, the schools we go to. Now, by the time I finished college, I've had a grade 1 teacher who was amazing. I've had a grade 2 teacher who was, I'll be polite, less than amazing, and with hindsight probably had some health issues because she was grouchy and rude to the students. But my grade 1 teacher, she did something called framing very professionally. In grade 1, within 3 weeks, she identified that Michael had some learning challenges. Nowadays, they might say Michael's on the autism spectrum, Michael has the following learning issues. But back in the early 60s, we didn't have those words. But Miss Patton quickly, in the 50s, identified that this kid at 6 years old had some eye-hand motion issues, that I had spelling and printing issues. So she wrote my parents a letter. She didn't say I was stupid. She didn't say I was backwards. She framed it in the most professional, uplifting terms. She said, Michael has some challenges in the following areas. School will be harder on him because of that. Michael has some gifts that put him above average in the following areas, in the classroom and in the playground. That will serve him well when he's finished school. So tell him to hang in there. So I did. That's post-secondary education because of her and my parents saying, yeah, you got these issues with school, but you got all these other things that put you ahead of many people. So that's what makes the difference is how we choose to frame things. So she could have said, Michael's kind of stupid, he can't spell, his handwriting's terrible, his printing is atrocious. Hey, he has grammar and punctuation issues. This kid is dumber than a stump. And some teachers back then still did that. Not Miss Patton. No, Michael has these issues, but he has these gifts. I went on to be a media and sales and marketing consultant in my firm out of 78, 79 people in the field, out and about across the country. 1 year I was sick for 4 months and I still came in 7th in productivity. And my boss is like, how did you do that? Well, I had all those gifts. And she helped identify them. We didn't talk about social and emotional intelligence in the early 60s. She just said, he's very good with other students. He's very good in the playground with other students. He's good at teaching them when they get stuck in his end. I've watched. So those things, how we frame things. Do we focus on the negative or do we focus on the positive? I think it's important to acknowledge the negatives and acknowledge the positives. I call myself a realistic optimist, and then use the positives to help us deal with the negatives.
So much for this wonderful and great answer. So my next question for you is, can you share a personal experience where resilience played a significant role in your life?
Yes, well, I've had business and personal, so yes, personal. At 27, I got diagnosed with a major health issue, cancer. Pretty scary times. And it was in what the doctors called a hepatic flexion. The large bowel goes in at 90 degrees inside the liver. It was right in the corner. It was big as a large apple, I'm told. We were still, they found out 4 days after surgery and it spread to 3 other locations. So cancer in 4 spots, So, because I learned about resilience through the university, I decided to be my best version of being scared. Oh yeah. To quote my French-speaking friends, I was a packet of nerves. So, I asked myself, how do I define myself? I was a routine cancer-fighting machine. No, I'm not a machine, but I like to play with words. So, So, that was first. Second, what skills did I have? And I thought of one of my teachers, Miss Pat. Because the challenges, I had emotions, she was so loving. And she was so good at telling me what I did have. Here's what I got. I got the force. And this quote from the movie actor scene. Now, Mr. Edward Sargentson, my grade 9 fitness teacher from high school opposed to secondary education, Michael, break things down into pieces. He taught me visualization skills. Whoa. I thought, okay, whether it cures me or not, it'll give me a focus from here and here. Because I can do this every day, and do it for a while, and for 23 hours a day or so, I'm just prayed out. So, I did visualization skills. Remember I talked about martial arts? I imagine that all my blood cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, were martial artists with 3 and 4 martial arts belts and different types of martial arts. Taekwondo, Shaolin Kung Fu, Karate, etc. And I imagine they were all deputized to heal me. So as they went through my system, no violence, and just grab the cancer cells and say, you don't belong here. So every time I went to the bathroom, goodbye. Flush the toilet, goodbye cancer cells. This might not cure me, but I knew it gave me a really good focus. So that was one, visualization skills. I also knew that visualization had a great way to help you be calm. So I could have lied in bed, and I did have afternoon naps every day, but because I was a little package of nerves, I did some slow pacing, but I used movie music that I found uplifting. So it gently stopped me from going totally over the edge, but also lifted me up from being stuck and frozen. And so I walked around hospital corridors, going slow, but it's a famous scene from Rocky, long before you were born. Dun, 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 dun. Then I get emotional because I lived it off and on for 7 years. And it's like, okay, that both calms me down because I'm doing it slowly and helps me stop from getting stuck where I could be dead. You know, you're fighting your best fight. You've been an amazing medical team. So I visualized the red blood cells, the white blood cells. I visualized calmness and healing. I visualized strength and power. I remember Mr. Sargentson, break it down into parts. Michael, break it down into parts. I remembered my mentor, Lauren, my sensei mentor, Dojo. Michael, breathe. Breathe in power, exhale stress. Breathe in power, exhale stress. Again, let's be clear, I'm no world famous martial artist. I'm a solid 3 out of 10 board belt level back in the day when I practiced 4 years ago. But emotionally, intellectually, martial arts changed my life. And I love that it aligned with prayer and faith and my parents and grandparents' teachings. So, those are some of the things I did. And I have a respectful sense of humor to me. And if I can make you laugh so hard you snort, or if you're drinking water, I might try to make you laugh while you're drinking water. I'm famous for helping people laugh water out of their nose just once or twice every few years. To embarrass you, if I can make you laugh hard by being foolish for a minute, not because I'm foolish, but it helps relieve tension. So that was the other thing. One of my managers sent me a great big green vine. And no, it's Ballard. Green for growth. Root. His last name is Root. And it was absolutely 2 feet wide, 3 feet deep. It was an enormous. In today's dollars, it'd be 3 figures in price. So when they changed my IV, which they did every couple of days, I said to them, don't throw it out. I'm going to pretend to have a plant IV. So I stuck it on my arm, no needle. Stuck it in the plant. My IVs were on the rest of the pill. And I walk really, really slowly and say, hey, have you heard about the new IV transfusion? It was nonsense. Everybody had a laugh. But it was me entertaining them and entertaining myself instead of focusing strictly on the pain. So I was framing and reframing. I'm framing my battle. It was scary. I had faith, family, friends, skills, a medical team, a whole lot of people on the team. And then I'm going to reframe it. If I got to fight for my life, then I'm not going to be that easy. I could physically die, emotionally, socially, intellectually, in all of the categories, cancer. So, wasn't sure it was going to make me live longer, but I knew I was going to have the best darn experience of my life fighting for it. So, that's my big experience.
Okay, that's a really, really wonderful answer. Thank you so much for this answer. So, my next question for you is, can you discuss some common misconceptions about healthline?
Oh, good question. Good question. And first of all, it's not a cure for anything. Resilience is a skill set and it's a process that impacts our beliefs and values, and that helps our attitude to face life with a more upbeat approach to apply the skills and knowledge and ask for help. So it's not a cure. It's about asking for help and building a team. Secondly, it can help us manage many situations. Research in the 1990s from Manitoba taught us that when we do these things, we can help ourselves manage our mental health, even if we have diagnosed mental health issues. Cure, but a set of skills and tools and process to help us manage our mental health. I've already proven to myself it helps me manage my chronic health issues. Now it's time for us to start to be able to manage our mental health. We can help our students, we can help our seniors, we can help ourselves, our businesses, and our communities by practicing resilience. So it's not a cure, but it's a set of skills and processes for better quality experiences, often, always, and outcomes, often.
Okay, that's really wonderful. So, my next question for you is, what role does mindset play in developing resilience?
Excellent question. I'm going to go back to my chronic health issue. I used to go to the clinic for the first 15 years of my diagnosis, no, 10 years of my diagnosis, and they called me in my ninth year of going to the clinic, and the clinic person, the manager of the clinic said, Michael, two things. I'm moving because I'm getting married and I'm not going to drive 3 hours round trip to come to work every day. I said, I understand. I'm really enjoying your professionalism and your upbeat attitude. Thank you, Michael. But I'm calling you, the second reason is the reason I'm calling on behalf of the clinic is we've identified 7 people out of 2,500 people that come to the clinic that are happy. It's a non-professional opinion, but I'm one of the ones, some nurses, one of the doctors, we went through the list and we're one of 7 people who have identified as being happy despite this chronic illness. So we can participate in the research. I said yes. So that goes back to mindset. My mindset was, I have a chronic illness. I didn't cause it. The doctors, the nurses, the researchers, the caregivers, my pharmacists, they didn't cause it. Why, when I'm in deep pain with my chronic illness, would I take it out on other people? So, that's mindset. I made a choice. Why would I blame the caregivers, the very people trying to help me manage my health and maybe make some of the pain go away? Now, I'm pretty self-sufficient. I've gone to the library, researched the information, and I told them at the clinic a few times, until you stop having a physical or medication-only system, you'll never achieve the best results in the clinic. You need to have a mental health with skills and an integrated approach. So I was polite, pushing back. What you're looking at me physically and medication-wise, but what about this? What about this? So mindset says, what's out there? What can I bring in to have a better quality experience, possibly impact outcomes?
Thank you so much for this wonderful and great answer. So, my next question for you is, how do you support clients in overcoming setbacks and failure?
Oh, great question. I support clients with setbacks and failure by giving them go back to mindset. How do they see this overwhelming issue or a major pain? Maybe it's bankruptcy, maybe it's death of a loved one, maybe it's a business, they lost their job, maybe there was a fire and they lost all their possessions, whatever. How do you view it? Again, I go back to being a realistic optimist. How does it hurt? Make a list. Then make a list of what's still working. So some would call that a gratitude list. And so getting people to understand. So when one of my friends' mother died, and he was my friend, he was the young judge when I knew through his mother. When his mom died suddenly at 44, and he's first year university, he was pretty angry. She wasn't just a regular good mother and business person. She was an outstanding member in the community as well, who did a lot of volunteer work with kids in the community and youth with financial literacy. Anyways, he was angry. He said, "We have every right to be angry. It's not fair." That's here. That's the negatives. All that stuff. Positives. We are financially more aware than almost anybody else at your age, and we're more financially aware than almost any other community. Mother nurtured you, loved you, you and your brothers and sister got to have life experiences that only the wealthiest have, or the most adventuresome have. It's broadened your horizons, it's deepened your understanding of life, and you're financially safe because your mother was so astute. You didn't have to worry about a roof over your head or being hungry. So yes, all this over here, the loss of your mother, profound. Can't imagine the pain. It's worse than being beat up in the street by a mother. But over here, we have all these other things. So as you mourn her loss, and it hurts deeply, how can you celebrate it? You had a mother that was, to me, a world-class human being. So don't try to push the pain away, acknowledge it. But between the grief episodes, celebrate that she was what she was. And when you got to have that in your life for 20 plus years, what a remarkable woman. No, I said not to be silly and serious. And your mother was a very fashion-orientated lady, modest and humble, but she was very fashionable. You have the gift of that because in this world, unfortunately, we judge people by their looks. And having a good sense of fashion have people accept you sooner and faster and trust you more. She's giving you an advantage you can't buy. Some people never get that. So that's how I help people through. Acknowledge the stuff, the negatives and pain, make a list. But then over here, gratitude, make a list. Don't try to push the pain away, deal with it. My dad, come April this year, he's been gone since I was 55 or so, and that's 14, 15 years. That really sucks and it hurts. But I also celebrate I had a father who was loving and nurturing and a good dad and a good role model as a man for 55 years of my life. So many of my friends only had one parent. I had two. So it doesn't make the pain go away, but it helps balance the equation. So I help people balance the equation of the loss of grief.
Okay, that's really wonderful. So my next question for you is, can you share a success story of someone you coach in resilience?
Yes, thank you. I will call him Fred, not his real name. But for 12 years, part-time, full-time, I taught career search to people who've been out of work 18 months and longer. In the 90s and in the 2000s, we had a recession of depression for a few years, so there was a lot of people in work. So I got hired to work with these people to help them become a more resilient job seeker. And Fred had won international awards for business, for safety in his industry, and even got an award from a major multi-billion-dollar manufacturer because he took a 16-hour repair job and was able to do it in 12 hours, respecting all the safety protocols and laws in his very stringent industry. So pretty smart guy. And when you're repairing a multi-million-dollar item, but it's idle for 16 hours, that's expensive. Anyways, his spouse called me and said, "Michael, can you help Fred? He's really stuck." This is the guy that won national and international awards from the government and from the manufacturer for taking 4 hours off a 16-hour repair job. He's a genius, my husband. And he's a loving dad and husband, but he's stuck. So we went back to what hurts and gratitude list. So we got to go down the list. And demanding gratitude, technical competence that's world class, and all these things. I said, so yeah, this sucks, it hurts. But let's take a look at what's over here that puts you top of your class. Boom. I said, and you cannot, and you look your age or younger in a highly competitive marketplace, you have accomplished things that normally people would have to be in their 50s, and you've done things and invented things in your late 20s, early 30s. So I want you to start working on your confidence. So I called his wife, and with her permission and with Dad's permission, we had the kids start to coach Dad. And so over breakfast, Dad, what's one thing you did at work that was really awesome? Dad, what's one thing at work that you helped overcome? Well, he used to have a couple of videos of what he would be special and snarky. So he played a prank on one of them because the guy was constantly rude, and it scared the guy. Not in a dangerous way, just in a way where the guy went, he said, you either respect my team or I'll find a way for you not to be here. Oh, you'll still be safe. You'll still be very alive. But do you want your wife to know what a bully you are in the workplace? Because I've had it. Anyways, his kids coached him. Fast forward, I get a call 2 months later. He's just graduated. Michael, you got the job. Thanks for helping. I said, my honor, you've been a great student. He said, but you want to hear something funny? This is before Zoom, so no Skype, before StreamYard. And he said, I got the interview online, and that was good. And then we texted back and forth about a few technical things. And they had me go to a local place, and I did an online technical test assessment and scored well. But then I had to go to Toronto to the boardroom to meet the founder, my manager, and the team member. I was stoked, and I remember what you told me. So on the Sunday, I drove to the meeting event, looked where parking was, and I drove home. So I was comfortable to know where I was going to go, because I used to train people. If you're driving 2 hours to go to a meeting for a job interview, basically, for argument's sake, that's a $30,000, $50,000, $80,000 meeting you're going to. You don't want to be late. You don't want to miss your parking. So he went, found the parking on the Sunday, came home, knew how much parking would cost for a 3-hour meeting. It's the day of the meeting. It's Tuesday. It's up 2 hours early. He's had breakfast. Everybody knows to get out of the way because Dad's day is today. The suit's ready, the shirt's being pressed, he's looking fabulous. But I'm just going to put the garbage out. So I take my jacket off and hang it in the car, put the garbage out, kiss the wife and kids goodbye, wish Dad luck, 2 copies of my resume, in forward, off I go. I get there, I'm 30 minutes early. Now, I look down and I have my slippers on for putting the garbage out because I didn't want to get garbage juice on my good shoes. So, off he goes, finds a shoe store, bangs on the door, they let him in early, he buys a pair of shoes, he puts them on, he goes to the meeting, they give him the job, they thank him, they're all ready to meet. He said, by the way, I felt so comfortable with this company. He lifts up the shoe bag and said, I was wearing these up until 20 minutes before the meeting because I forgot to change and put on the dress shoe. So I got a new pair of shoes this morning to look presentable. So he got the job and a new pair of shoes out of the meeting. So it was helping him build his confidence in his competence. So that's a phrase I want you to remember for yourself and your classmates. We can have the competence. If we don't have the confidence, we won't tell people what we're worthy of and what we can accomplish. So that's one of my biggest successes.
Okay, that's so really, really wonderful. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. So we are ending today's interview. Hope you guys go to learn something new, want to learn something unique. So thank you so much for watching.